Anwar, Saladni of Anwar Reflections. Today we're here with Dion Clark, longtime community activist, former candidate for Mercer County Freeholder. Dion, thank you for taking time to be interviewed today.
Thank you, sir. And first of all, good morning. Hope all is well, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. In an interview with the Times, Dion, you said that the same people who have a vote in it are the ones who have the most at stake, referring to local ordinance that Trenton City Council members can vote on regarding landlords. Do you still hold that view? And if you do, why do you feel that way?
Absolutely, because the landlord situation in the city of Trenton is a very serious one. They affect the quality of life for us homeowners and taxpayers. They rent to anyone. They don't do a background check on a lot of their tenants or anything else. They just move them in. If you have my monthly rent, I'll rent to you. And a lot of times, a lot of this is Section 8 money. So I'm not saying everybody on Section 8 or rentals are bad people, but when you don't own something, you really don't have a real stake in something. So you might live there for a couple months and move on. But when you're a homeowner, you got a mortgage and you're committed, then you take more of a commitment to your property to maintain it and keep it up.
In light of you saying that, though, I mean, on the other side of the coin, on the flip side of the coin, you know, you got, at-large council member Alex Bethea saying that if you don't have a vested interest, how can you decide for someone else? He was quoted saying that. And then you have another council member, Phyllis Holly Ward, saying that council members who are landlords may be able to bring perspective to colleagues who do not own rentals. And do you think their views are legitimate?
Yes, they make good points, but still in the end, they are the ruling body, and they have the final say-so on these laws and regulations that they also will profit or lose from. So they're going to do everything in their powers to make laws and things where they will benefit. That's poor business. If I can rule on something, why would I vote against something that will benefit me? So I think it's very hypocritical. They make a legit point there in one aspect of it, but it's a much bigger picture than just that.
And what do you, I mean, in light of your views on this, what do you suggest that the council members who do own rental properties in the city, what do you suggest that they do?
Well, it's four of them. Mr. Alex Bethea, Mrs. Kathy McBride, Mrs. Philly Holly Ward, and Mrs. Verena Reynolds Jackson. They should excuse themselves from voting on any landlord issues. They should abstain from any votes and let the three remaining council members decide.
And in terms of voting on these landlord issues, it would be like things like voting on inspections and things like that.
And yes, rules and regulation, fines.
Fines, okay.
A time period to fix a problem.
Okay, so you're saying those three of those members should, excuse themselves and not vote on it. I'm sorry, four, yeah. Should not, and then they should not vote on these matters?
Absolutely.
Okay. And have you brought this proposal to them, or?
Absolutely. I brought it before several city councils several times over the years, even before the previous administration and council, because some of them are landlords. And they wasn't going to act on it because it would affect them and their way of life and their pockets.
All right. Well, Dion, switching topics slightly. I mean, what you've also made it a point to talk about another quality of life sort of issue with the ATV riding.
Absolutely. In
Trenton. What's your concern there? Why are you concerned about that?
They are terrorizing our city streets and sidewalks. They have no regards for human safety or properties. They in the streets doing wheelies, standing up on them, speeding, jumping off the sidewalk into the streets in between cars like they're a bunch of daredevils. And I feel that it should be an area somewhere where they should be allowed to go ride these things at, but not our city streets. There should be a total ban of them on the streets. And if they are caught, they should be apprehended and face whatever the consequences that the laws allow, because they're going to hurt somebody or destroy somebody's properties.
And speaking to you earlier, you were telling me, recounting an incident that happened near your house last night with an ATV. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about that?
It's like on a regular routine. It was between the hours of 7 and 8 o'clock every evening. They come through the neighborhoods, disrupting people's qualities of life and peace. And around 7 o'clock last night, I was up in my room watching TV, and I heard ATV out in front of the house racing its motor. And I looked out. He was on the sidewalk waiting for the police to come, like he was daring the police to catch him. Mm-hmm. And the police pulled up alongside of him. I believe that it was strategically had him set up. So when he took off down the street, it was police at the other end of the street waiting for him. So when he went to jump off the curve, because he was on the sidewalk, he went to jump off the curve into the street to think he could get away, and the cops cut him off. And in the meanwhile, he crashed, and he got off the ATV and tried to run, and they apprehended him on foot. Score one for the Trenton police.
I mean, Daryl, I'm sorry, Dion, sorry about that.
No problem.
Dion, well, I mean, on the flip side of that, I mean, what about those that may suggest that making an issue out of the ATV riding is not really a big concern when you have, murders, and you have, as has been reported in the news, and you commented on it too, the recent spate of violence and crime in the city. To speak about issues of ATV riding might not be the most pressing and the most important thing to talk about. What do you say to people that make those claims?
Well, it's one of the many quality of life issues that affect us in one way or another. It might not be as blunt or outright murder and violence, but those ATVs can be used as a weapon to leave somebody dead or maimed by the recklessness, the way they ride them and drive them. So in one sense, it might not be so directly like pulling a gun on somebody, right, shooting them, but recklessly, and the way they drive them, it could lead to somebody's death or being seriously injured.
So it does present a safety issue, it sounds like what you're saying.
Absolutely, and it's a serious quality of life because of the noise and the constantly racing up and down the street, where you have senior citizens, you have people with health issues, and you have people with children trying to put them to sleep in bed at night to go to sleep. And with that type of ruckus and noise, how can anybody rest?